All right, cool. So, yeah, this is going to be for last week, 6:15 to 6:21.
Mhm.
Do you want to run through the numbers first? It's usually easier to get out of the way, right, before we go to the details.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So last week, I believe there was a holiday, right? It was Juneteenth.
17th. Yep.
Yeah. So that would explain the hour shortage. So just tiny bit of overtime. Uh, Hours, 17, 25, 21. A lot of short hours in here. 6,
Mm-hmm.
30. Not pushing the 40 you planned on, right?
Right.
Um,
We also had a rain day too. 20 hours for Jack, 21 hours. That's weird.
Not a lot of hours. Very short week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I meant to ask you too is these guys know, like, just like I think it's really good they get their bonuses on Monday so they can differentiate from their regular check.
Damn.
Do you think they know they're getting paid for holidays, or are they just off the radar? Like they should know.
I think the guys who are getting paid holidays should know that.
Totally, right? So maybe at the meeting, I mean, we could pay it separately too, I guess. But I don't think we should pay it separately. Maybe we should make them aware of like the benefits they're getting, right? Like, hey, you guys got 8 hours of pay for Juneteenth because they might not even know. Most of them probably don't pay any attention to it, right?
I think they'll know. They'll see it.
You think they know? Though their
Yeah.
hours are higher, even they only work 3 days. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
think
just want to make
so.
sure it's costing us money to provide the benefits, so I just want to make sure they're aware of the benefits they're receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Not just buried in their check, they don't know the difference. On this Target, it was only $5. Is this Target? Because like Shauna's transactions like target the store, but then also target the FERC people.
Right. Yeah, Target specialty products.
That's what this is.
Yep.
Okay, so I assume it's what is it, orange then?
What does it say? $5?
Yeah,
It's not right.
weird, right?
Oh, Target. No, it's the store. I bought some water or paper towels. That's
Gotcha.
Target.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just take this. I mean, it's $5, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna leave it. All right, and other stuff is red. Home Depot.
You put Steve on that instead of orange?
Yeah. I would say it's $5. It's not going to really skew any numbers very much, so I just going to leave it. And I don't need Steve on here.
Right.
Let's take it out. Not going to really change anything. It's $5. So here's Boxwoods, mulch, Anthony credit card. Looks like Red Project stuff, Sadco, right?
Yep.
All right. So the first thing that caught my attention here was the budget revenue was low, but then I saw that our margin was right there, right? Basically exactly on point.
Yeah.
So that's
that's what, rate.
Yeah, that's what matters. So we still managed to hit that, but look how a shortage in hours, huge shortage because the holiday and maybe a rain day, but then our charge rate was up. So it's funny. This is now the opposite trend we were having last year, right?
I know.
Funny. I mean, I guess you could say it's funny. It's working out, but interesting. I guess that's the word. It's interesting.
Yep, it is.
But it also kind of makes sense, right? Like you're doing less work and get more money for it, right? You know what I mean? Like you can do more work and charge less, or you can do less work and charge more. And if given the choice, and end up in the same place, and if given the choice, we'd rather do less work for more, right? If we're going to end up in the same place, why scramble all these extra guys and craziness to end up in the same place?
That's what we did last year. We were doing way too much work to get the same revenue.
Right, and our rate was low. So things are like under control, right? Because we're getting good rates. The other thing that really caught my attention this week was the charge rate for Blue Crew. What the fuck happened? They were at they've been down. Yeah, like look at their, well, I got they hit 72 here, but the 53, 47, and then 64. So they were really dropping here. That was the new crew that was training, right?
Jordan's gone.
Is that the only change that happened?
The only change that happened.
Well, it sounds like that's really that he was not helping anything. So who replaced him? Because like, look at this drastic difference. They got the work done like hours faster. You know.
Oswaldo and Jose are mowing on Blue Crew now. Jordan was a fuck off, man. He was he didn't take the job seriously. He was taking his time, clearly, right? He had 63% unbillable, I think, the week before. What the hell was the guy doing? Tells me he was sitting in the truck. He wasn't working.
Totally, man. Well, I mean, better late than never. Earlier
Yeah,
would be better, but I'm glad we did it. We nipped in the
but
bud. But
he was on the chopping block for a while, and then
yeah,
he said he had COVID last week, which I don't think he
yeah.
did. And then he said, "Oh, he texted Anthony. I don't think I'm coming back." I was like, "Great, save me the hassle of writing him up number one for mowing 3 fucking wrong addresses and then firing him. So save me the hassle and all that."
Very interesting because, like, we're always making, like I've said before, we're always making up excuses for stuff, and we're like, why? Like, we think sometimes that, oh, maybe it's not realistic, or maybe this route's really undense, and maybe this, maybe that, and like we try to dig and find excuses for people to underperform, you
Right?
know. But in reality, it's totally possible, you know.
Yeah, totally, man.
Um, So these guys are all hitting the same. So I dug into this, right? Because the reason I dug into this was, these guys aren't hitting 81, right? And then what really caught my attention was that Silver Crew. Well, he actually almost hit it. He's at 84 last week.
Mhm.
He was like, when I looked at his dispatch last week, he was doing exactly as he's supposed to. We were charging the, what is it, 105 or for gardening.
Yep, 105.
Yeah, we're charging 105, and he was doing his routes, and he was spending the same time in the morning. I was like, why are we not hitting what this says here? Um, and I originally update me, but what's happening? This is coming from our billable time, right? From that sheet, and what was happening was that we're assuming people are working 40-hour weeks, right? So we've discussed that how that changes, right? The more hours they work, their billable time is going to go down. If they work shorter hours, like that week with Kevin, he only worked like 20 hours. And it's
Hmm.
assuming he worked 40 hours. So his unbillable time is going to be higher than what's portrayed there. So this assumption needs to be realistic. So like if they don't work, first of all, I don't 40. They probably not work an average of 40, right? Like Kevin works like 37 and a half. So reasonably get
Yeah.
me some averages. But I was going to make this target more accurate because this is based on right here. This unbillable.
Excuse me.
Show you what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Recurring gardening. So this is all based on these assumptions, right? So this is where this 86 comes from. It's based on a 40-hour week, a one-man crew. All these things change the rates depending on how many people, what we should be able to get.
Hmm.
But these meetings, the prep, the drive right here, so average from previous seasons. So assuming that everything's the same this year. But I think the major thing that's affecting this is this 40 hours that we're assuming they're working, because that's gonna change this. Like if he only works 20 hours, it's gonna go down to 67. See,
Hmm.
the target, which that was just 1 week. But when we're looking at these targets, we have to keep that in mind that if they work shorter rates, then there's no way they're gonna get 86. You know what I mean? But if this same guy
Yep.
were working, if he were working 60 hours, we should be able to hit like 92. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
it definitely changes things more or less hours they work, because this is all fixed. They're going to be prepping every day. They worked, it's a fixed amount of time each day. So if they work a huge long day, it's going to be less percentage of the day than if they work half a day. If they get
Hmm.
rained out half a day and they have to drive back to the same spot and do the same prep every morning, it's going to cost a lot more. you know
Right. Right.
that's why
Like,
those budgets are not. That's why we're not hitting those. Just because there's a little bit of variance there. It's like a rough guide, but I'm gonna try to make it a little more accurate anyway. Um, so yeah, so going through the rest of the crews. So yeah, these crews are all hitting. Maroon crew wasn't the problem one. It was always blue, right? Maroon crew.
Maroon was underperforming for a while. I think they had their act together. What's their
Mhm.
charge right now?
They're right alongside everyone else. They're in the
Great.
60s. There were some 51, 55 earlier in the
Mhm.
season. It's funny how green Randy just always ends up being our benchmark, right?
Yep. They're 18.
Yeah,
Eight,
he's
eight
right.
bowling team.
Yeah, consistent. Plus, now keep in mind, like Randy's getting speaking of that unbillable time, lawn mowing crew, and we're gonna have to kind of adjust this, or maybe we just ignore it. But for next year, we might want to adjust this because like clean, prep, load, brief. Cleaning and prepping. This is probably gonna take less time because there's what prep is there to do in the morning. I mean, they have to clean their truck, but it's probably not 21 minutes a day, right?
Nope, probably not.
They don't have to unhook, or maybe it's the dump time, 30 minutes. We didn't take the best notes on what these consisted of. Dump, so 20 minutes. Um, they don't have to disconnect and stuff now, So it's gonna be a little bit shorter, you know. But we'll
That should
probably
be.
reevaluate this stuff in the winter and make it more clear. But his unbillable time with that new truck is gonna be it's gonna be less. That's the whole idea. Less downtime.
Exactly.
Yeah, these Mo crews, we got yeah, great. We nipped it in the bud, right? And we got hit on this other problem too, the outlier accounts and the over budget accounts, and these numbers will go up again. So we're fine tuning this time of year, which is great. Orange, no job supplies listed here, right? Again, based on a 40-hour week.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't work many hours, did he? He only worked 20 hours. Yeah.
21 hours.
You would expect his rates to be down because he's got all the fixed expense, but he still crushed it. So, but also this rate is the average of our lower and higher rates, so we don't know the mix up. Again, this is just kind of these are ballparks, but like we're mixing this with the sprays and the applications, which are sprays we get like 95 an hour, and applications we get 300, right? So depending on the mix of his work, he may have done more applications, gotten higher rates there too, which is probably the case. Plus, there's no job supplies here, right? So that's part of it too.
Right.
And he's been just following his trend. Where are we? Orange. I mean, 36.
Why did it say 36? Oh, that's because you get pummeled with job supplies that week, I think.
I don't remember ever being that low, though. Do you?
No, that would have raised a red flag.
I don't ever remember his rate being 36. All right, let's see what she says about that. That can't be right. I've never seen it. I don't remember ever seeing it that low.
Right.
Yeah, so you can see where we bought job supplies, right? They stand out very clearly.
They do.
So yeah, no job supplies. Purple crews doing projects. 103. Again, if they're working more hours than 40, they're gonna this number. They're gonna be able to beat that number just by working more hours. But in addition, they're under budget too, right? 34 versus 30. Red crew, and how are these guys doing their budget hours? By the way, the mowing crew. So 75 actual, 74 budget, 78 actual, 75 budget. It sounds like things are as of last week. We're still taking a little longer than they should.
They're slowing down. So Randy was like 13 hours one week, and then he tightened it to like 6 hours, and now he's 3 hours.
They're closer and closer to budget, is what you're saying?
Yep, exactly.
Got it. Yep. So this one's 81. But budget was 68, actual 81. Or did they still hit this charge rate, right? That seems they did get budget hour credits. There's no credits either. This is Maroon Crew. They don't have any budget hour credits. Dylan, Zach. Here's their hours. 616 Maroon. Maroon's what we're looking at, right?
Yep.
Crew cut the wrong house. Back to the wrong house. Crew cut the wrong house. Was this with Jordan or was this with the new guys?
No, I think Nicky and Josh were were away. I think that was a different crew. Somebody filling in.
Got it. All right. Well, I'm going to follow up on this. I'm just jot down my notes.
Okay.
Because that doesn't seem right to me. If they got 81 actual hours and budget was 68, way over budget, right? How would they hit the same rates?
Right.
There's actual. Yeah, an orange cruise under by 7 hours. These so Purple Crew was budget was 34.30, budget was 95 and 83. These guys Red just hit their charge rate. These guys exceeded it. Silver Crew, Kevin. Yeah, so he did better. Was he doing a different type of work? He did better than he's been doing.
Kevin doing a different type of work?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Occasionally he gets like trimming jobs at a higher rate, I think, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. Is this list? Yeah. Oh, he was mowing. Oh no, sorry, wrong crew. Silver, right? Silver gardening hourly, tree trimming and trimming. So yeah, he must have done well on these jobs, I would assume. Or yeah, no, it's not like he was spending under an hour at these jobs either. You know what I mean? Because we bill for an hour no matter how long it takes, but it looks like he was spending this budget hours, actual hours, 0.43. So if he goes under, it's kind of in our benefit because like you get paid for an hour anyway. So like this guy, he got $105 for half an hour. We're charging $210 an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These other guys are just hourly, and most of them are hourly. So this is the only one that would have boosted him here.
Mm-hmm.
But these ones, he must have done well on these projects here. This one's budgeted for 4. He did it in 4. But is that a project rate? Because that's more than 105 an hour. That's what is that, 120 an hour?
Yep.
Yeah. So we charge
between
120 there. Plus, what's that?
I think it's between 110 and 115.
Well, 480 divided by 4, right? That's 120.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he got 120 an hour, plus he was there for 4 hours. All these ones, typically he's driving around and he's there for an hour each. He was there half the day, charging more than his regular rate, right? So that would have boosted him up, right? And this guy, 120 an hour again, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that boosted up his rate. Anything else? Zach? Nope, that's it. Let me just shoot Arij a text that way, just in case she gets back to me while we're on the call. Eve, why was Maroon Crew B hours? 58 and actual 81. Yet they still got same rates as everyone else. Okay. All right. So yeah, good week. We hit our margin. What saved us is good rates, right? So we're still working on getting our hours up, but when we talked about that last week, we also had rain and a holiday, so that didn't help our case, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
These numbers we're catching up, right? We should be. Oh, I did good. I wrote it down for the week before. So we were 10% difference overhead recovery where we should be where we want to be in overhead recovery. But remember, we are averaging in January, February, March, but we're starting to get like, what are we almost like? Are we halfway through the season yet? No, because it's July. We started in March.
Yeah.
You know, right? Or maybe at the beginning of March. So that's only 3. Well, it says right here how many weeks we are, right? We're week number 24 out of 52. But that's the whole year. But really, the season starts in March. So we're really, you know, March, April, May, June. Yeah, so we're 4 months in, and we have like 9 months, right? Something like that. So we're not quite halfway. So yeah, we had a spread of 32 and 42. I don't know if I think this is last week, 10% difference, and now we have a 9% difference, right? So we're closing in.
Great.
37 and 46.
Mm-hmm.
42. Okay, I was checking. I thought that number was the same.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is 37 and 46. So we're 9% difference now, right? So we want to close this gap. If these are the same, we're going to be right on budget.
Mm-hmm.
Right, settling right there, mid 30s for wins. I think that's great. That's where we want to be.
Yep.
So the waste lot, we kind of reviewed it a second ago. FERT issue, half an hour. Blue crew unpaid. Yeah, this is going to the wrong house. 2 hours. .02 putting out a sign. He must have been like putting out while he was driving and just stuck it out the window. Because you know what I mean? Like, what is .02 hours? Like nothing. Yeah, he just shot that out of like a spitball gun or something and stuck it in the ground.
Right.
Crew cut the wrong house. So it cut two of the wrong house. Oh, they each cut a wrong house. Okay.
Yep.
FERT issue. Yeah, that's just like, I hate that. That's like such stupidity, isn't it? It's like, look at the fucking house number when you get to the house. Like,
I know, it's so stupid.
how dumb can you like? Come on, use your brain a little bit, you know?
Right. I mean, I'll be honest, it happens, dude. I've done I've done maybe 3 wrong houses in 10 or 15 years. That guy Jordan did 3 wrong houses in 2 weeks.
Right.
You know?
And literally, like, GPS makes people so dumb because, like, you have arrived. Like, okay, let's get out and cut this on.
Yeah, without even looking, right?
Yeah. All right. Oh, Silver grabbed some. Looks like grabbed food for the event. Went to the bathroom. Okay.
Went to bathroom. Unfucking real.
Great. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. This debt log. We gained another $5,000 in. We $5,000 less, right?
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
This trend here, honestly, this is like my favorite thing we've done with the KPIs this year, being able to track this pattern, because that's what really matters, right? This is like the big picture, like money in the account, right? Like this is what matters. So yeah, our trajectory is going. Here's our line of trajectory, but you can see, so you know, we went down, right? And usually the first week of the month, which is coming up, is when we gain the most traction, right? So what I would expect we're going to drop down again here for July, right?
Yep.
That's because we get all the first of the month payments in, plus RBS, we get paid the first of the month. So that's when we get. Plus we got, I guess that should be reflected this week. We got that check for. We got the reimbursement for the overpayment on the workers' comp.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
All right, so that is that. How much time do you have today?
I've got all the time in the world today.
Awesome, cool. Let's hit on everything. It shouldn't take that long anyway, but just wanted to check. All right, so I wanted to hit on our packages, right? I don't want to open this because this is the actual client with all his information. So I checked what you said, right? So our minimalist package includes lawn mowing, spring cleanup, fall cleanup. And when you run, I double checked what you did. When we run the prices, the package for the same square footage, we're getting 5204 was the price for minimalist package for this guy for square feet. However, when you individually price the services, it is 6031. Did I reverse these?
I think you did. Yeah.
All right, give me a second.
It's always greater.
Yeah, so maybe I reversed them. Yeah, so the package, I screwed that up. So the package is 5204. So if someone buys a package of all of our services versus buying them individually, it's going to be 4770. So it's not exactly incentivizing buying a package, right? So the reason for this, I dug into this, is that on our pricing worksheet, we have our charge rates for packages, installment plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're charging $130 an hour. So that means that for fall cleanup, spring cleanups, and mowing, we're charging $130 an hour, right? Because it's based on all the time of the property. And this is what's in our budget, what we planned on.
Right.
But if you pick the services individually, it's $125 an hour for cleanups, right? So we're charging $5 more an hour for cleanups. And we're charging them, lawn mowing is $110, and we're charging them $130. So we're charging $130 an hour for lawn mowing and cleanups. So this was just a really bad strategy oversight on both both of us when setting the prices. Because yeah, why are we charging installment plan customers more than people who buy services a la carte?
Yeah, good
Right.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is like we planned on. It's a good portion of our revenue. It's like 17%. Um, the thing is, though, like most people don't. They're just going to ask for a quote on a package, and they're not going to compare, right? So it's not generally a good strategy, though. We should change this for next year, right? Because that's not a good strategy because you can't upsell people, right? Because if you did, if it'd be really easy as a sales tool, if there's no incentive, there's actually a disincentive to get a package, right? I mean, what do they get free? They get like property inspections and they get
Soil
do they get anything
test,
else?
annual consultation.
What's that? Annual consultations. They're paying
Yeah.
for receiving estimates now. Great, right? And then they get the property inspections, but really they're not really getting a whole lot of value there, right?
No, not really.
Yeah, so for 2026, we need to change this lower rate to make it easier to sell, right?
Yeah, totally.
Because then you could be like, if someone's like, oh, I want mowing and a fall cleanup, you could be like, well, if you buy the spring cleanup, you actually save X amount of, you get a 20% discount or whatever it ends up being on your package. I can send it to you both ways so you can see the difference, but spring cleanup's only going to cost you another $100 more or what have you. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot easier to sell. And then, oh yeah, plus you get even monthly installments. I guess, that's a benefit, I guess, to some people, right? Like of having the package, they get fixed monthly payments instead of paying $700 for their fall cleanup 1 week, right?
Yeah, some benefits to it.
I think the thing is most people aren't going to do that and compare, but we should address this for next year. For this year, I don't think it's a major issue because people don't know the difference, right? But we may be booking less than we need to. I mean, if we're booking 130 an hour for these services that the market only supports 110, people might not be buying them, right? They might just go elsewhere. So we should address that. The same token, though, we'll see how numbers land next year, but like this is 70% of our work. If we were to try to give them a break here and drop this down to, so if mowing's 110 and cleanups are 125, if we wanted to give them a break and drop this to like 115 or something, or I don't even know if that's good, that would be a break. Let's say we drop it to 110 for everything. That's going to change our numbers here. That lowered us $5 an hour. So we need to bump up other stuff or work more hours or lower overhead. But anyway, what do you want? So for this year, I don't know if you want to do anything about it, or I don't think we need to address it now. It's kind of in the middle of the season. I think it's something to address next year.
Yeah,
In the meantime,
no need now. We're aware of it. I just wanted to be certain that was the case.
Yeah, we're aware of it. Yeah, I already put it on the Trello for this winter and stuff. So we'll address it. But that's why. It's not like a mistake or something that wasn't typed right. It was just a bad strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so address that. Noah asked me this week, so he said I need help testing. So this is about the mean green mower. I need help scheduling a test run. We coordinate with Steve and Anthony so we can have him go out to a lawn we cut. It was really thick grass and cut it. So I guess Noah wants to test that lawn on the mean green on a lawn with really high grass. So maybe like a one-time mow or something we picked up somewhere. We could throw the mean green on it.
Well, Randy used it for quite a bit of time, and Randy is our best mowing foreman. And Randy said that it doesn't cut tall grass well. So I'm just wondering why we're going to bother sending Noah out to do something that we already know doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. I just didn't know if a second opinion was worth it. I've also been telling him to call that guy. It's still a bit of my agenda to try to meet with him. The guy who runs all, like, how does he deal with it? There's a guy in Connecticut that's running all mean green mowers. Like, how's he dealing with that problem? Because he's in Connecticut, he's close by. All he has is electric mowers. He has multiple crews. Like, what did they do to solve that problem? So I've been pushing Noah to contact that guy as well. Right?
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, right. Why do we need to bring it to another property, right? Why don't we just ask that guy who has experience? Like, why are we trying to figure it out ourselves when we have this guy on the road who has tons of experience with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's willing to help us and talk to us about it.
Right.
All right. That's addressed. let's talk about this fuel delivery just because it's more fun. I'd rather, and I don't know, Trello like changed this their board. It's weird. Um, so first of all, I'm like, so I don't know if you saw this from Melissa. So we finally found someone, right? Awesome. They're willing to do fuel delivery. $8 per truck, $1 per can, plus the cost of fuel, which is basically the state average, right? So no upcharge on the fuel. They're just charging service fees for fueling the trucks. So awesome, right? We'll dig into this in a minute. But like, why did this take so fucking long? Are you fucking kidding me? And like, why? We assigned 4 different people. So like first, like October last year, right? We was talking about this.
Yeah.
Then like Lewis was on it, Melissa was on it, Arij was on it. And then we got to multiple dead ends, and I kept pulling the card up. I'm like, let's look again. And like, people, I don't know. Like, it just, why did this take so long? Like, we have all this list of people. This is from Lewis. She sent this big list of people, and it's like this company in Rhode Island that does it. You know. Okay, we're looking into the tanks too, which we, basically the landlords were the one that made that not possible. How inefficient. And also, like, people wanted to drop it like multiple times, and then it was totally like a thing that could happen. Like everyone was, "Oh, can't do it, dead end, dead end, dead end." It's craziness. But there was just one. I mean, I didn't spend much effort on it, but I didn't find it either. But yeah, the Fuel Genie, and they're like a Rhode Island company.
What is it? Fuel Genie?
Yeah. Here, never pump gas again, Rhode Island. Experience on-demand fuel delivery, fuel vehicle. Like, I don't know. Actually, this is an article. I wonder if this is a new thing.
You think a quick search, fuel delivery in Rhode Island, would pull up Fuel Genie like right away, right?
April 16th. So maybe this looks like it's a brand new thing, actually. So I guess that would explain everything.
Okay. Yep. In April.
Brand new. Yeah. So that makes me feel better about how inefficient that was because it didn't exist, right? Supposedly. But hopefully they stay in business now they see how new they are, right?
Right.
That doesn't seem like a lot of money to fuel a vehicle, but but if they come and they're we're getting commercial rates, right? $24. So she has the rates right here. Yeah, we're getting, they're gonna same thing with them. They're gonna be at one site for a long time, fueling a bunch of trucks. They don't have to drive to one house to fuel someone's car, right? Like they can afford to do it for a little bit less. So $8 per truck. So this is what I was focused on, right? So quick math, okay? So I contacted Arij, 67-minute. What we have budgeted right now for driving. So now I'm trying to see if this is the financial feasibility of this, if it makes sense. And like my gut just tells me yes, without even looking at numbers, but I want to crunch the numbers. So we give them 0.17 hours to fuel the trucks, but they also have to drive there, right?
Yeah.
So typically, they're probably driving, is it one guy or two guys, first of all? And the other half of that question is one guy, and they're driving there and back? Because if there's one guy, they have to drive back and pick up the other guy.
Right. Yep, they're going to fueling and coming back.
Yeah, so it's 15 minutes round trip, right? Plus the time fueling, plus wear and tear on the truck, which now I'm going to talk about, plus the fuel burn to drive there, right?
Yep.
Which I'm not going to discuss that, but just put it in the back of your mind. These are other things. And then plus they're obviously, they're probably doing other stuff while they're there, right? Like, why not run and get a coffee while I'm here, right? And yeah, it affects their budget hours, but at the end of the day, we're still paying for that, right? So otherwise, and also there's the other part of it that we're not even going to talk about in this calculation is the opportunity cost that we could be billing another 45 minutes of work, right? At $100+ an hour instead of just driving to get gas, right? So we can produce more work in the same time, in the same day. So anyway, so we're talking about 15 minutes of 0.25 plus 0.17. So this is basically, it's a 0.42 hours to fuel, right? Essentially. And these guys cost us, after labor costs, about $30 an hour, assuming they're not on overtime, right? No, it's 0.25 times 2 because they're driving. Or nope, it is 1. It's where is it? 67 minutes. Yeah, so it's 15 minutes round trip driving plus 15 minutes of fuel, right? Times $30 an hour. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's about $13, but we've definitely, I mean, those trucks get like 7 miles a gallon, right? So we're definitely using fuel. Plus, we're putting wear and tear on a truck that, costs, $70 to $100,000. We're putting miles on it. Plus, like I said, the opportunity cost. Plus, this is regular time. If they're on any amount of overtime, you have to assume it's spent doing this. Because if we don't have to do this, so overtime be 45 an hour. You know what I mean? So if if they're ever on overtime, this is overtime money you wouldn't have to pay, right? So now we're talking
Right.
$20 per fuel twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we should do it. I think, and this is per time. They're doing twice a week times whatever 5-6 crews, whatever. Um, I think it's, and we're gonna just be able to get out the door. They don't have to get. Plus, you have the other guy standing around, right? Like, I don't know. He shows up later, right?
Foreman comes in an hour earlier. They go on
That's
fuel.
right,
The other guy comes in later.
That's right. That's right. The time probably doesn't always match up though. And they still have to go dump the truck sometimes, right? So that still has to happen. That's unavoidable. Unless we someone to pick that up. But what do you think? I mean, I'm just thinking about everything you're telling me too. So the other guy's not waiting. $8 per truck.
Mm-hmm. I think it would cost us $19 to go fill up.
That's if they're on overtime. Okay? If they're on overtime, and that's also if they don't stop to do anything else, right?
Right.
And if they're fueling the mowers and stuff, I don't know if it obviously has to take a little bit longer. What I used to do is I used to pull through. There's 2 pumps. I'd first run one pump, fill the truck, and I'd run the back pump and pull the fuel of the machines too. I mean, Randy doesn't have to fucking fuel his machines anymore because he's on board tanks. So they have to come and fuel his tanks and his truck, right?
Yep.
And I guess we'd have to put in the mix, right? In the tanks.
Yep.
So hopefully Randy would, I'd probably put that on Noah because I just wouldn't trust Randy to remember to do that. It'd be nice if we could try it out, like with one truck or something, but I don't think that's going to be a thing.
Right.
Or we wait till next year just to keep things so we're more, we're not just jumping into this and making things crazy. I mean, it is a good time of year to make changes during the season if we have to, but it is the middle of the season, so it's going to complicate things, right? At first, because there's going to be confusion. We might have to mess around with the prep time, what time the guys show up, if we don't need to spend 45 minutes fueling the trucks, right?
Yep, that's all true.
So is it something we should wait to implement till next year, or implement it like overnight? You know,
I think we should let it go. We have to wait for the estimate from Fuel Genie to Ann. Let's look at that. We'll make a final decision.
This is what they told us. This is from. We can start as soon as we have the final approval. This is from Fuel Genie.
I know, but he's going to send an estimate that we have to accept.
Oh, yes. Okay. So you want us to push this off until next week?
Sure.
All right. I don't even know how you work this card anymore. How do I change this due date?
I know, right? So weird.
Did this change on your end too?
I haven't been in trouble yet today.
Yeah, there's some pop-up like explaining changes was here and I just closed it. I guess that's why I do that. All right. Well, I hate this. Okay, due date 1 week. All right. Cool. Cool. Talked about that. I'm really excited about that, though. I hope they stay in business, but I think that's going to be a good. I mean, the better option would be fuel tanks on site, right? But the second best option is that. And think about it. It's just overall more efficient. Instead of spending 5 guys driving to fill small tanks in each truck, they have one big fuel truck, and they send 1 guy. You know, so they're saving on labor, and we're benefiting from that savings, right?
It makes sense.
It crossed my mind after I saw that. I was like, what if we got a fuel truck? Right?
Oh, good idea.
Send Noah out to fuel. Yeah. It probably doesn't make financial sense to buy a fuel truck, though. But like, I was like, now we have it on wheels, and what the starter's going to say. Anyway, maybe it's a down the road thing, but down the road we'll have our own shop anyway. So, all right. So we did that fuel delivery. Arish got back to me on this. Let's hit on that real quick. I asked her about the budget hours for that crew, and they're correct. So on KPI, where are we? So, budget 68 and actual 81. So she's saying this is correct. So I'm guessing, I mean, the only way that'd be possible is if they had like a really dense route or accounts that were priced really well, that they would still hit their charge rate despite going way over on their budget hours.
Right.
And why would they go way over on that?
Now I'm not sure, man. Again, I don't think Neki and Josh were here. They got back on the 17th. What's the dates on this?
6/15/21.
16/21. Yeah, so they were there for three days of it, majority of it. I'm not sure why they're taking so long.
Okay. I think it's worth, if this is correct, let me pull up dispatch real quick. We do have another call at I think it's 10:30, 10:45. Let's check it. Yeah, not till 10:45. Dispatch. Let's burn through this quickly. It's maroon. Ah, crap. Combs. All right, here we go. Close out day. 49. Status completed. Yeah, they're going, let's see, 1.48 hours over budget. Oh, package client. Oof. All right, we're looking at that too, right? That's a lot longer than planned on, right? But these guys are all under budget. This one's over a lot too. This one's over a lot. And even a half an hour is quite a bit. Especially this time of year, right? I mean, if they're going over budget this time of year by an hour, package clients. There must be new package clients. 67.74. That's the result on the sheet after everything's been entered. Budget hours, correct revenues, good drive times are correct. She's showing the screenshot she sent me says 67.52. All right, well, this isn't productive, so I'll circle back to this with her and we'll just review it next week. So you don't have to wait for me. All right, so let's talk about this now. All right, so down here is packages, right? And up here is non-packages. These are the mow times. We're supposed to be doing this every month, and I guess we haven't, but we finally did it now. So better late than never. Let's fine-tune the rest we can. So total actual hours, number of visits, current price, time per visit, price from charge rates, price increase, $50. Okay, so sorry, I'm just trying to make sense of this. So current price is $60. Okay, so this is what we're earning. This is the current price on the lawn, and this is what the price should be based on the time.
Right.
So the price needs to go up $50. So I don't have the addresses on here, but if you're familiar with them or you have them on your sheet, you can see.
I do. That lawn is not big, man. It's maybe 6,000-7,000 square feet. Why it's taking so long, I don't know.
There's a note right here. Ever since after we resumed mowing after the driveway got sealed, Green has been taking a long time mowing this property. So I'm wondering if the lawn area changed.
It did not.
She made a video. She touched a video here. I can't really view it unless I pause this. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know, but we could look at their specific times. But
Well, I don't think May is a good month to really do an audit on mowing because it takes twice as long to mow lawns.
Well, that's why Arij didn't do them. But my counter argument was if they're going over like we just saw over here, like the rest of them, it's still May, right? There's no difference. This is May. They only went over by 0.16. These people are under. Um, so people, these people go over by 0.04. It's the same dates they're mowing, right? So relative to those people, like look at like the ones that are going over by 1.48, right? There's no way you can justify it by saying, well, it's May, right? Because look at this guy. Or look at this guy going under budget, right? So you can't say, oh, it's May, and that's why I went over by an hour and a half. These are ones that are like going to be a problem even later on. So the reason Arish was not presenting them was because she said, well, it's May, right? Everything's taking way longer. So I don't think necessarily the price needs to go up by 50 because it's May, but the price needs to go up, right? That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because other people, we're still making budget on accounts that it's same code, cut the same week, same. We're exceeding budget. So why are how can we say it's okay to be going over budget so much on this property?
Well, I don't want to run into the same problem we had last year. We kept mowing, I think, at a loss for several weeks or months. So let's just nip this in the bud now. This guy, Onondaga, he's a huge pain in the ass. He's texting me and Anthony every day. I had to block him. He won't fucking leave us alone. We got to get rid of him. So perfect opportunity to get rid of this guy. Let's raise his fucking price.
If he's causing problems and he's going way over budget, total bad apple, right? Just ditch him. Or the way to ditch him is by saying a price increase for $50, right? He's not going to say yes to that. So
nope.
Right. So
yep. Talk to you.